Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time since the last drink. Well, that's an Australian thing to say, but mate, I have had nothing but issues with this E36. Yeah. Reason of why that's sitting there, that starter motor. Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but the original clutch setup that I had in this vehicle was, I guess, technically correct. Although it's hard. The clutch that's in this box here, this one down here, was the original one I got from Kaz. Got from Kaz Engineering. A little bit of yeah, it's weird. The pressure plate was fine. Flywheel was fine. The clutch pack, yeah, I know that one caught me off guard because I've never used a puck style clutch. This is an excuse, but it had flywheel side written on it. So I put, I'll show you guys in a minute. Essentially, I had the clutch pack the wrong way around. Hence the reason why I had no clutch in this thing. Done my head in, ended up buying another clutch kit, but it fantastic clutch, don't get me wrong. Light and flywheel, I was like, yep, that'll be great for what I'm trying to do with drifting. You know, a little bit snappier, easier to rev. Put that in about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Had an issue where the flywheel and starter motor didn't really like each other. The starter motor won the battle with the flywheel. The flywheel is not happy, which isn't great. Been a lightened flywheel and has chewed the teeth off the ring gear pretty bad. It's probably about 2 millimeters or so that it's chewed out of it. Although engine started, everything was sweet. The vehicle, like the E36, reversed out of the garage. Everything was good. Although another dodgy oversight on my part was obviously doing the E36 M54 conversion with the 4-cylinder tail shaft. Is about an inch to geyser is massive. There's an inch that's too long in the tail shaft, which made me not be able to properly bolt the tail shaft to the gearbox. So me being dodgy, just sat a couple of bolts in there. Yes, they were on a bit of an angle, couldn't do the nuts up. Shouldn't have done it, but I did it. Reversed it out, drove it forward, was sweet, reversed it back out again. Everything was happy. Last time I tried to do that, it spat the bolts, like started the engine, everything was sweet, put in gear, went to take off to put it back in the garage, and the bolts came out. Not great. So what ended up happening with that, I don't know whether it was a bit of a byproduct or whether the starter motor was only just sitting on the stupid little dowel on the gearbox that these engines have, which then ended up kicking the starter motor sideways, and me trying to diagnose what was going on, because obviously, like I said, engine started perfect previously. Starter motor kicked out sideways off the dowel and destroyed the flex plate. Not happy about it. Or flywheel, flex plate, whatever. So now I'm at the point of going, well, if I have to pull this gearbox out again, do I pull the engine and gearbox out with it? Try to find short front half tail shaft for it, or whether I try to cut an inch out of it and re-TIG weld it back together. No, that's not the correct thing to do, but at the end of the day, this car will never be registered again in my possession. So I'm fairly confident that I should be able to cut it, take an inch out of it, TIG weld it back together, and that'd be fine for now. I can get another front half, but they're pretty expensive because it's such a common swap now. It's annoying because I had this thing running for so long. Obviously, it wouldn't start, but it wouldn't move out of the garage. Granted, that whole time, that clutch pack was the wrong way around. The springs weren't facing outwards towards the gearbox; they were facing in towards the crankshaft, which obviously does not work. Pretty high chance that I'm pulling this engine and gearbox back out and getting this sorted this weekend because I am so over it. I done a driving experience with on-track drift at a new location a few weeks back, and literally that night I got home and I went, gearbox is going back in with this new clutch. Everything was going to work, which it did for a little bit. But now, put the starter motor back in, engine cranks pretty much fine, but for some reason it won't fire up. I don't know whether it's taken the crank angle sensor out with it. When the bolts came out, it made a big bang, and I switched it off. Ever since then, hasn't started unless it has brake fluid started in it. Fun cars. Right. A couple of hours later, thankfully, pulled this engine out before. It's gone. Sitting over here. Oh my lordy. This was the fancy flywheel that I had, but it's a bit hard to see on camera. You can sort of see. Teeth are a bit upset, especially in a few areas like this one here. It's ground down quite a ways. I've seen somewhere before it had a nice flat spot. That one there. It's meant to look like that. That was an $850 flywheel. Oh well, time to put the original one back on. Not happy about it, but I'm going to triple measure everything. Make sure that my throwout bearing is going to be fine, because I do not want to pull this out anytime soon, other than if this gearbox explodes, or when it explodes. I'll be happy with that, just not having this clutch issue because I am so over it. Okay, new flywheel. This is the original setup I had. That was the newer one, the lightweight one, the good one. Doesn't have holes, has all the holes around it. But anyway, so original issue that I had was I had this side here facing that way. Only reason for, it says on here, flywheel side. Has the springs, flywheel side. So one would imagine that it goes this way, according to what it says on the clutch pack. But in reality, flywheel side, Chinesium, is wrong. It's supposed to go that way. That was one of the main issues that I had. But anywho, alright, put this on, I'll do a bunch of measurements, make sure that my clutch setup and throwout bearing is going to work, because I have two different height ones. Hopefully I've got one of the right ones, because I think there's three different ones, but I'll get the one that's going to be the absolute closest or perfect, and yeah, see what we can do from there. Bit of red Loctite, because I don't trust these things and I don't want them to come back out. So fingers crossed this will work. Got my new torque wrench there. Google the specs for what that's meant to be, because last time it was Milwaukee Dugga Dugga. Okay. Turns out it's 105 Newton meters. Helps if you got a friend. I don't have any friends, but 105 Newton meters. They're all torqued. So let's see if my 3D printed clutch alignment tool works. Worked on the other clutch, so can't see why it won't work on this one. Get the clutch all situated on there, do some measurements, and like I said, fingers crossed I can get the correct throw out bearing, because if it's not, it's gonna suck. Also, this has been a whole situation. This is the original starter motor out of it. I actually snapped the back of the solenoid off. I have a part of it over here somewhere. I don't know where it is now. So I snapped that off, replaced the solenoid, decided, oh, I'll pull the starter motor apart. Yeah, just check the brushes. As soon as I pulled it apart, all the counterweights all flew everywhere, so yep. Bench tested it. It seems to work. Although, I do have a brand new one sitting here in the box. Thinking I might just chuck the new one in, because I don't want to have to pull this starter motor out, because it's like the 4th time now. Yeah, it'd be about the 4th, because the last time I put it all in, I pulled on a plug, and the cam sensor, I assume it's a cam sensor plug, pulled out, which is like right behind the starter motor. And that was me going, nah, fuck this, I'm done. Pull the engine box out and go from there. That gives me a little bit more of an inclination. Plus I need to fix some stuff on the exhaust headers as well. Had 2 snap studs when I brought those headers off Kaz Engineering, which I knew of. So I just chucked a bolt in them. But now while I have them out, might as well TIG weld them in. And that way it's now a stud instead of a bolt, and doesn't have to have a socket or a spanner on the top side, and try to make it easier for the track, because man, cars suck. But hey, at least I know now that I can remove that starter motor and replace it without pulling the gearbox or the inlet manifold off, so winning. But yeah, fuck cars. Alright, it's all on. It's 25 Newton meters. Clutch alignment tool seems to have worked. We'll see when I put that stupid thing on. Yeah, 25 Newton meters for pressure plate bolts. That doesn't go down to 25 Newton meters, so it said 40. I went, yeah, I know. I used my elbow for click, click. It went bzzz, which means it hurt, which means, yeah, that's enough. Fast forward, we're back to this section again. Man, what a mission. Put the engine back in yesterday. Car still wouldn't start. I thought that I damaged the crank angle sensor. Turns out, no, I didn't. I can't even find the little bit of hose. Oh, here it is. When I replaced the fuel pump 12 months ago, that bit of hose came with the fuel pump. Assuming that it was submersible. Pretty sure that's the word. I don't know. Whatever. And it split inside the tank. Not happy. It finally starts now, which is great. I've fitted the pedal in, so it's not sitting on the seat there anymore. Because that wasn't fun last time, to try and move it out of the shed and use the brake, use the clutch, and the throttle all at the same time, as well as steer. That was, yeah, not ideal. But since I had the engine out, it gave me a bit more room to be able to fix up some stuff. Idle air control valve is now connected. What else was there? Replaced the original, where is it? The original earth strap, because yeah, it's pretty jank. So it's got a nice new one here. Also replaced the main power cable. Still got a lot of wiring to fix up. All right, it's been washed. Made it out the garage. We'll insert a little clip of me just moving it around the street. But power steering seems to work. I think it has a couple little pinholes, which, whatever. Fix those up at a later date or probably never. But clutch seems to work fine. Pretty happy about that. I don't have the bonnet proper working, but you know, should be. It all seems to work, so yeah. Power steering works. We'll do the radiator stuff now. My thoughts is making some sort of expansion tank that goes this contour and down with two-ish fittings. See how my welding goes. Obviously I'll make it out of alloy or aluminum. Also want to do something with the bonnet. The bonnet I'm not happy with, neither am I with the roof. But the bonnet, obviously it's all starting to peel already. So yeah, I don't know whether I'll paint that or what. See if I can get the colour match to work with the bonnet. But yeah. That will probably end this video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any questions, don't forget to send me a message. Either on here or Instagram, Mick_MC. And yeah, any questions, yeah, I'll write back to you. Thanks.